And do you support Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Because I think the Democrats just in general they love to keep you down. From what I see, they'll give you everything to keep you dependent on them, and that's what I don't like.
Okay, what do you
And
mean by
so
that?
I just support Republican. Period. At this point, I don't. I've been a Democrat. Like I was raised being a Democrat, but from what I see, I'm from the hood. In the hood, they'll give you, the Democrats want to, they'll give you all the food stamps, they'll give you all the financial support you need to stay in the hood. They don't
Um,
want you to, they don't want you to rise up.
so I have a question. Are you saying that like we should limit people from having access to health insurance and food stamps? But wouldn't that like
I'm not
restrict
saying that.
children
I'm
from
saying
having?
that. Nope, nope. What I'm saying is that like take for example, since Donald Trump came back in, now you can get food stamps, but you gotta go take that class now. A lot of people don't like that.
What?
They rather
There's no class. Like
well
there were
here
work requirements that already existed for food stamps.
yeah,
They
no
just made them
fact, that's
harder.
fact, that's facts. But see, but now they enforcing it.
They
They
were
enforce
already
it.
enforcing it.
Whatever they was doing, I don't know what city you in. They maybe in your state they was, but in this state, everybody now is talking about it. In Wisconsin, everybody talking about it. They hate Donald Trump because they like their food stamps getting cut. Now they got to go take that workforce class or whatever, and it's just a big issue. But it ain't just been that. It's
Wait,
been that
I'm
way for
wait,
years.
hold up. So like in terms of food stamps, you think people are like living off of food stamps?
I mean, I know for a fact they are. Yes,
Okay, how much
and
do you think
Section
people are
8
getting
too.
in food stamps?
It's not about the. It's not about that. It's about not wanting to have much more than what they're giving you. It's about saying, hey, I'll take these food stamps and I don't have to
Wait,
work.
I know. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, how much do you think people are getting in food stamps? You think that they can just get food stamps and not work at all?
I know a lot of people that do.
Okay, okay. Can you
I know a
explain
lot
to?
of people that do.
Okay. Can you explain to me like how much they're getting so that they can do that?
I mean, well, just say one person. One person get like 290, something like that. One person.
So to clarify, someone's living their entire life off of $290 a month.
Oh, if they can, they will.
And
Yeah,
yeah, can you explain to
in
me?
this city. I don't know about. I'm not speaking around the world. I'm saying I'm in Wisconsin. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you getting about one person getting about 297, something like that. And yeah, they'll live off of that forever if they can, if the government let them.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you explain to me how they're going to be able to pay for things in their life on that much money?
That's the whole point. That's my point right there. You
No,
can't
I'm
survive off
actually.
that.
Wait. Okay,
No,
so
no,
then
listen,
if
listen.
they
I hear
can't, so
what you're
then how would
saying.
they be doing that? That's just like you're just
Yeah,
making that up.
and see, that's the whole point. Exactly. It sounds unbelievable. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why it's a problem because it's a lot of people who stay in poverty because of that. They
Okay,
stay in poverty because of that.
so, okay, so then are you saying that we shouldn't provide any social programs for people who are in need because it will
No, I think
keep
you should
them in a
provide
state
social
of dependence?
programs.
Wait, no. Here's
Nope.
what it seems like your argument is that we shouldn't provide social programs such as Medicaid and food stamps because it keeps people in a quote unquote state of dependence. Is that your position?
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
so would you like to clarify your position so that I could understand?
So what I'm saying is that the government should help. I appreciate that the government helps, but with terms of you have to be doing something for yourself to try to better your situation. Period. And a lot of times, a lot of here in Wisconsin, it's just not enforced. If it's like that in other states, it might be, but in Wisconsin, same thing with Section 8. I know people that's been on Section 8 30
So like
years. They won't.
what would you like to change about how the system works in terms of qualifications that would then put people in a position where they're quote unquote bettering their situation themselves to
I
a
mean,
greater extent?
what I think is great is making someone go to school. At the bare minimum, school should be a requirement, some type of degree, some type of something where you can get a job, where you can at least try to get a job. If you trying and you
Okay.
can't get hired, that's different. But at
Can I
least
ask you a
some type of
question?
education.
Can I ask you a question? Um, I don't see why it would only be education as if
Hold on,
people,
my phone. I gotta end this call. A call.
huh?
Okay, go. I'm sorry, your call came in. You said what now?
Yeah, so like I don't think that just saying making someone go to school would make any sense because they can't just, do education for the rest of their life. Now, in terms of like saying people should go to school in order to be able to pay for these sorts of things, that would be time that they're spending that they're not getting paid to be able to pay for things that they need to in their life. Now, that in terms of an opportunity cost would be great to incentivize people to do more education, but forcing people in order to be able to get basic things like food stamps and health insurance, I think is ridiculous because if people don't have access to health insurance, they die at a greater rate because they don't get access to preventative health care. I think everyone in this country, regardless of who they are, should have health insurance, right? Free at the point of service. I believe in something called Medicare for all, so that's like healthcare, dental, medical health, and mental health, anything like that, right? All covered, right? Free at the point of service for everyone, right? I believe that should be the case because 45 to 68,000 Americans every single year due to lack of health insurance. And countries around the world have systems set up in terms of universal healthcare access where they spend almost half as much per individual as we do, and they actually have better average health outcomes. So we can have a better
See,
system where we spend less and we take care of more.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right. I agree with what you're saying, but I do think that if you're able-bodied, then you should be some. It just you shouldn't just be able to get all that assistance, and you're not trying to do nothing for yourself. You're just living off of it because the government is paying for it, the taxpayers paying for it. To me, I mean, that's just not right. It's just
Wait,
not.
wait, wait. I'm sorry.
My
I'm sorry. Think about it this way: children don't have jobs, right? Children get public education, right? Do you believe that they should continue to get public education, even though right now they are not currently doing something that you would consider as a quote
Of
unquote
course,
net positive to society because they're not
of
working or whatever?
course,
Okay,
a
so
child. We're
we
not talking about a
understand we
child. I'm talking
understand that the
about
programs that we have to benefit people in terms of these social programs are meant to put people into a position where they can in the future, and oftentimes it does in terms of food stamps,
exactly.
in terms of health insurance access, right? That absolutely provides a baseline so that people can go out, right, and be able to get a job. Oftentimes, people are less likely to be able to go out and do those things if they do not have those different types of preventative mechanisms in terms of social programs in place to ensure that people are taken care of, given that they can't afford it.
I mean, I understand supporting someone while they're chasing their dream or getting to their goal. But it's a difference between that and what I see. What I see here is a lot of I seen people not even want to work just because they don't want to lose their food stamps or they don't want to lose their Section 8. So you gonna be I know family members, they're gonna be in that situation for the rest of their life. And then they complain.
Okay, so if someone wants to live in certain conditions, right, would you specifically say that they should be cut off by the government so that they live in worse conditions? Or
I
would you want to
mean,
establish a baseline so that regardless of the scenario, they're going to be taken care of? Like we'd want that for
you,
our family members.
you know
So,
what?
so think about it this way: say a family member stopped
Yeah,
working,
I feel
would you
you.
want them
I
to
hear
starve
you.
to death? Would you want them not to have access to health insurance? And if you would want those things to be applicable to them from that sort of basis, well, then think about like if no one in your family would be there to be able to provide that for them. What you would require in that scenario is a government to be able to provide that for them, given that your family couldn't be there for them. So we all want, as a society, for there to be a system set in place to provide that type of social safety net for our family members, given that we couldn't be there to provide for them. So we should provide that for the people who cannot be there for their family members, or for those that do not have family to be there for them, or for people that don't have those to be there for them, and that would rely on the government in that circumstance because no one else
I
would be
think
there to help
that
them.
I think that poverty raises the crime rate. I think that the more people you got that's down like that, the more drama you're gonna have in the world, and that's just the way it is. I've been at the bottom many years, and I just think that no, yeah, I do think no. I mean, to answer your question, yes, I believe that the government should still help the people that's down. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless, I do think that, but I think it's kind of like I don't know. It's messed up, and I think it's better to try to push them to do better.
Sure. And I think that that's a societal thing of us trying to push people to help out each other in terms of our community members rather than it being like people shouldn't get access to health insurance or like food stamps if they don't particularly do something. The force that you're trying to imply here, right, is going to actually be more detrimental towards helping people in the long run. So I think what you're referencing is that like
Say,
you want in culture for people to be given more things where they can build themselves up socially speaking, have more social mobility. And actually, if we look at cultures or not cultures, societies around the world, right, that specifically have right sets of conditions in which will create more social mobility, oftentimes we see that there are social programs as a fundamental aspect of creating that social mobility because providing a baseline for everyone creates more opportunity for everyone.
I
Like
I
K through
I,
12
I
education that creates more opportunity for everyone, right? That's better for our society.
yeah.
We want a more educated a population that is voting in elections. And I would say that we need even more education, right? We need more focus on better education, right? And being there for people, right? Especially in the context of a community, we need to be paying our teachers more, right? Teachers shouldn't have to go into their own pockets to be able to afford school supplies. That actively I think harms the culture that students are going to be growing up in terms of like around education. I think that education needs to be made more fun, to involve children more. Not fun in
Okay.
like a you can not do anything sort of way, but like a and you need to like sort of change the culture around education to make it fun, right, for people to engage with in order for people to want to continue to engage with, and especially for children to want to, especially given social media in the modern era. We need to update education to advance with the times.
I mean, I agree. I understand that definitely. But that could be Democrat or Republican. You know that.
Yeah.
I think that's the Republican stance more than Democratic,
No,
personally.
no,
So
actually, well, I mean, Trump's advocating to abolish the Department of Education. So please explain to me how that's more of a Republican position.
I heard that, but I don't. I seen something about that, but I think it depends on. I think that's a touchy subject. It's not like he just like you could throw that out there, yeah, but where is the cuts actually coming in at? Because if it's this school down here where the people is where all the gangsters going and they they up the schools, they doing things like that, then maybe those schools need to be broke up because I would rather have one bad seed in this school than a bunch of bad seeds in one school. So that's what I see here.
I'm so confused. I'm confused what
Okay, let me give you an example. It's a school here where where you have you might have it's just a you might have 1,000 kids and 600, 700 of those kids are bad students. They everything is bad. That school to me need to be cut and need to be closed down, and
uh,
the students need to be dispersed amongst the to the better schools. I just feel like from what I see,
so wait, hold up. Can I address this? So you say send people to quote unquote better schools. Why don't you try to
go ahead.
fund schools to make the schools better in the very first place? To be able to provide more resources and social mobility to every community and not
Well, no,
just
I
hyper specifically
understand that,
say that
bro. But
it
let
should
me
be only
just
certain
okay.
communities, because then also what you're doing is you're displacing a lot of students that were near that particular school, right, towards other schools where it might be harder for them to get access to.